Plunder Pit. Chapter 20. Wanda wakes. Wanda ought to have slept as soundly as Chad, yet when she got into bed, she could only doze. She kept on thinking of all that had happened and wondering if they would find in the cave next morning. Again and again she tried to put it all out of her mind and get to sleep, but it was no use. The rain had quite stopped. There was no wind. If it had not been so quiet, the odds are that Wanda would never have heard the very faint sound of a door nearby being opened. Wanda sat up and listened hard. Presently she heard something else. The boards in the passage creaked as though under a heavy weight. Wanda slipped out of bed. She turned to the handle and got a horrid shock when she found that the door would not open. The key was inside, so it was not locked, but she could not move it. She examined the door and found that it was fixed by means of a wooden wedge jammed under it from outside. Wanda's hobby was chip carving. She drew the blinds, lit a candle, found a mallet and chisel and, muffling the chisel with a handkerchief, managed to push the wedge out. She put on a dressing gown over her pyjamas and peeped out. All seemed quiet. She stole across to Chad's room and knocked twice. No answer, so she opened the door and went in. The room was empty. The bed was all in confusion, the clothes pulled off onto the floor. Chad's slippers lay by the bedside, his dressing gown hung on a peg. If Wanda had been frightened before, now she was terrified, for it was clear to her that something had happened to Chad. She was so panic-stricken she could hardly think what best to do, but that did not last long. She pulled herself together and went straight to Clive's room. The first thing she saw was that his door, too, was wedged just as hers had been. She did not waste a moment in snatching out the wedge and went straight in. "Clive!" she said urgently. Clive was sound asleep. She shook him awake. "Clive, Chad's gone. Someone's taking him away. Get up, quick!" Clive came out of bed like a rocket. He thrust his feet into slippers and rushed into Chad's room. One look was enough for Clive. "It's Jake and Ben. They've got in somehow." He snatched the candle and went down the stairs, flying. Wanda followed. There was no sign of anyone about, and the house was as silent as a grave. The first thing Clive did was to try the cellar door. It was locked, but as he turned away, he stopped short. "Look at those marks," he said, pointing to footmarks on the floor. "Mud," he added, "and hardly dry yet. Someone's been in from outside." He went swiftly to the front door. "Halloa," he said sharply. "The bolts are drawn." "They were closed when I came up," Wanda answered. "Someone's been in this way," Clive answered. "Yes, look at the marks. Big feet. Jake's, I'm pretty sure. Wanda, I'm going out to see. You wait here." There was light enough for Clive to find his way down the drive, and just outside the gate he caught a glimpse of some dark mass. It was a car with the lights out. He crept up and cautiously examined it. The car was a Buick, and Clive recognized it at once. Then he hurried back to the house. "Torgan's car is at the gate," he told Wanda. She stared. "Torgan? But he went away." "Just a blind. He's back, and I expect he has Ben and Jake with him. They've collared Chad, of course, but I'm hanged if I know where they've taken him. Wanda, we must get Jan and Major Garnett." "I'll go for Jan," Wanda said quickly. "You wake up Major Garnett." She ran upstairs, and Clive followed. A couple of minutes later they met again on the landing. "Jan's gone," Wanda whispered, "and Rachel doesn't know where." "Garnett's gone too," Clive told her. Wanda's lip quivered. This was too much, and for a moment she could not even speak. Clive took charge. "Wanda, they must be in the cellar. Those chaps wouldn't have bothered to break in here like this and collar Chad and Jan unless they had to get something out of the cellar." "But there's nothing there," Wanda argued. "There must be," Clive insisted. "They've found something which you don't know about. Where's the key?" Wanda ran to the kitchen and got the key out of a drawer. She put it into the lock and turned it. Then she tried the door. It would not open. Clive tried but could not move it. "Fastened from inside," he said. "Probably wedged just as your bedroom door was. Wanda, this makes it a flat certainty that they're down there somewhere." Wanda bit her lip. "Oh, Clive, what can we do? There's no one to help." "There's you and me," said Clive stoutly, "and Rachel. See here, Wanda, what about screwing up this cellar door? Then they can't get out, and after the best thing we can do is to go round to the cave and get in that way." The plank is there and the passage is open. If we can find Jan and Chad and Major Garnet and turn them loose, we ought to be able to settle those 3 robbers. It's the end of chapter 20. Good night. Sleep tight.